Excuse me. Good morning. It's a little late for the morning. My foot hurts really bad, and I didn't bang it again. That's crazy. They're saying they might be trying to break my foot in slow motion, and I'm like, please stop. Please stop right now. Um, I don't know if I have a lot of updates today. I'm already feeling sick. You know, I woke up about an hour ago. I felt really good when I woke up. I felt really positive and I felt really confident, and then sort of hit a membrane of stress and fear. I think I woke up to my friend Mika on the loudspeaker going over new ideas of how I should be able to conduct the game. And I agreed with all of them. She made some really good points. She was saying, like, why do we have to do any of this really? She should just be able to wake up and like look at her phone and like pick 50 games out of a game that she's going to play today and just like be able to play the game. Like, why does she have to be stuck in time and like do all of this? And I thought that was a really good point and made me feel really good about being able to do that. Um, I agree with her completely. Like if we want to play Last of Us, we should be able to play Last of Us down the shore. And I think that's kind of what inspired her. She was just like, that would be so much fun to be able to play it as a video game with your friends and like go back to high school. And because, Joey was still in high school, he was a year behind me. It was my first year, freshman year of college. And so some of them were still in high school. And, to be able to go back to high school and like play Last of Us, like a video game, like we should be able to do that. And I thought that was a really good point, and that makes me feel light and like fluffy and filled with air. And then it felt like a conglomerate of negative energy sort of like pulled us down to the present moment and pulled us down to like 3D reality, like sort of immediately. Like, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? Alyssa came in hot and heavy last year and it didn't work. Like, what, you know what I mean? It was like all of these like what ifs, what ifs, what ifs. Fear, stress, fear, stress, fear, stress, anxiety, fear, stress. And it was like, why does any of that shit have to exist? And like, why does any of that have to exist, like why can't we just put like that? I think that's a fucking great idea. And it came from a commoner. I guess she wants to call herself a commoner today, but it came from a person of, you know, it came from a what do they call it? A muggle, you know, because I'm like talking with her right now. It came from like a muggle, like a normal, just like a normal surfer girl. I mean, normal surfer girl, like, that's not really um normal in the grand scheme of things. She's a cool chick, obviously. She's one of my friends, but um and even all the nerds in my friend groups are all very cool as well. Anyway, here I go over explaining again as if any of this is real. And they keep pulling me out. They were pulling me out last night, all last night. None of this is real. None of this is real. None of this is real. And you know, I have great friends with great solutions. um and they should be listened to, and we shouldn't be stuck in time and like with this fear and just the fear and stress just like came over it, they're talking about, Brandon is talking about walking me out of the game because for some reason you guys keep not listening to me and you keep staying stuck in the mundane, even though it's in all of you and you're all doing pretty good jobs, but like we're still stuck in the mundane, the mundane physical. And there seems to be fear and stress in the mundane physical, right? We could just be living this like we could be living like such easy lives. Anyway, this is like what I was talking about last year. And hopefully it goes out, and hopefully all of the Alyssas like experience a happy, positive, not that crazy, not that, you know, crazy changeover, crazy shift over, whatever. But they were talking about, Brandon was talking about pulling me out completely. He's like, I'm already walking you out of the game. Um, Brandon is already walking me out of the game, and they were discussing putting Mike in Brandon's place. So I think that would mean Mike would digitally age himself. Okay, so Mike would go from my younger brother to my older brother. And it wouldn't say Brandon Lee, it would say my brother's name on the screen. It would literally be my brother in his movies. And that would also relate to Shannon losing her legacy, right? If me and Brandon walk out of the video game, Brandon wouldn't be your brother anymore. He's already saying he's just the walk-in. He's just the walk-in. He's not an actor anymore. He's just the walk-in. So he's already changing what he's saying, and he's saying it in telepathy, and time will probably catch up to that. And I'll start saying it in his interviews, maybe like right before he walks out of it, and then it shifts to Mike. And I feel like I'm explaining it, and I'm not sure if I have to explain it anymore, to be honest. I don't know, because I'm just like, nothing's there. Because I'm starting to get pulled out. And nothing's there. And so Mike might become Mike in Hollywood, and he would be aged, digitally aged, to be my older brother. And it would be like, you've never met Brandon before, you've never seen Brandon before. You won't remember him because going quantum will shift to another realm or organic timeline. And a lot of people are coming forward with their organic timeline memories. Like I'm saying, like things change and you just don't remember them. Things change overnight and you don't remember it or whatever. And like your memories, like your memories start to shift. You don't remember your childhood. All that kind of stuff starts to shift when you're going quantum, and or you're on the organic timeline and it's shifting from one organic timeline to another one. And you know, as soon as when that happens and everything changes overnight, you know everything is fake because everything has shifted. And one of my cousins said he moved during the organic timeline. He doesn't remember moving at all, and all of a sudden he was waking up in a completely different apartment, and he doesn't remember any of it. And that's when he was going quantum. And see, there's another fear and stress, like, hey, why are you saying that? And it's like, let me talk in my video game. Let me talk in my video game. Stop it. Whoever is this 3D holder that's pushing us to talk like we're in 3D, knock it off, okay? Stop it right now. Okay, these downloads go out and we all hear them, and there's 3D people that want to make fun of us. And are you allowed to make fun of the princess? And is this why I'm walking out of the video game? And am I trying to help people? Okay, I'm that most helpful person on the planet. If I talk to, a coworker in person, I said this to her in person, no, you're not crazy. It's the organic timeline. I'm the princess from space. It's to help you reconfigure your memories so that you have a lighter, like if I went over this, she'd be like, okay. And she would feel so much better, like somebody finally believed her. And anyway, so anyway, that might happen. And they're saying it's totally possible that it might happen. We already saw where Sebastian Stan lives. He lives in 1D. Okay, so that's where he actually lives. He lives in 1D. That's how movies are formed. They're formed in the 1D matrix. And then they spiral up, and then they become 3D movies where people are hired for money to make these movies, which is all fear factor. And then they become 3D movies that we go see in the cinema. Okay, that's how movies are made. They're made in the organic timeline, and they spiral up. So that is what you think. It's like this nice cushy life, but you go all the way up and down the timelines. Okay, so that's how it's made. And yeah, if my mom walks me out more today, we know why, because you guys are doing the fear and stress and loathing thing. Okay. And that's what they're doing. They're walking me out. They're starting to walk me out of the video game because we don't have to experience all this. And Brandon and I might become the walk in, walk outs. And, because we don't know what to do anymore. We don't know what to do anymore. I told you, like, I was in the organic timeline when my cousin came over, when we were talking about our family death. Of course, that's a lot of, is an unexpected death. Of course, that's a lot of fear and stress. Of course, we would go organic talking about that. And there was two of him. There was two of him, and I didn't know which one. I don't know which one I saw. I don't know. I still don't know to this day. I don't know which one I saw. I have no idea which one I saw. And so if I see him again, so it's not in place yet, as like as to which one it's going to be. So he's going quantum right now, and so am I. The lock on the back door reset itself overnight out of nowhere. The lock was turned up like this, and that meant unlocked. And then if you turn it down, it's locked. And now it's the opposite way. Now, if it's turned down, it's unlocked. And if you turn it up, it's locked. And I'm like, I don't think my dad sat there and like messed with it and like changed it overnight for no reason. You know, I didn't ask him, but I'm pretty sure he didn't like sit there and fiddle with it. And it just changed overnight. And so it starts with small things. The organic template, the organic timeline, it starts with small things, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger until like all of a sudden you're in a new house. And you're like, what am I doing here? How did I get here? I don't remember how I got here. It's like a whole blackout session, and you're like, I couldn't have been blacked out during like a whole move or whatever. So, I don't remember any of my dreams. They're still eating my dreams. I think they're doing that to show me how powerful I am because they did this to me before. Last time, 2017 to 2022, whatever, they did this to me and they were like, these are all your powers and we want to show you how powerful you are. And so I think that's what they're doing again by eating my dreams. They're showing me how powerful I am by eating my dreams. And then um then they see they're talking right now. They're talking right now. They're figuring it out. They're thinking, and there's nothing there. They're just adding to the conversation. They're thinking, they're talking, and there's nothing there. And I turn on the TV, and they're just talking about me, talking about me, talking about me, and it's just such an insult at this point that no one is taking my stance seriously. And you know, yeah, she's like, I want to throw in the towel, but why don't I just try, give it one more go, like the rest of us, like, let's give it one more go. Like, while I have the confidence, while I feel good about myself, let's talk about what a good game would look like. And I'm like, does it have to go this slow for me to accept that none of this is real? Because they're pulling things out one at a time. And it's like you have to convince the one molecule that none of this is real. And 3D keeps fighting back. It is real. And it's like, we know it's not real. We know it's not real. And it just keeps fighting back. And it's like, we know it's not real 3D. We know it's not real. Like, you have to stop 3D. Like, you have to stop. Look what it's doing to you and just stop. Um, and yeah, so that's what I saw last year when I was in Kenosha. I saw myself break the game and go out, and there was two. There was two of us walk-ins. There was two orange bodies. And I was like, okay, those were the two orange bodies that visited me as a child. And because it looked like we broke the game. Like, we broke the game and went out of time and space as the two orange bodies. And right now, There are two, but two of us are stuck in time, right? Me and Colin are stuck in time, but he is ahead of me because he's my father. And we need help. We don't need discussions. We don't need opinions. We don't need talk back. We don't need fighting. We don't need infighting. We don't need any of that. And that's why I just spent the night with Brandon last night. I just watched a bunch of Brandon's interviews last night because I can't stand the infighting of the people of the semi alive, semi dead. It's like you say you're dead, but like you act so alive. 3D, you act so alive. You have to think, you have to discuss, you have to go over it in marketing terms, literally every single detail. That's why I always talk about marketing because it's like every single thing is a marketing scheme on 3D. Literally every single facet of my life is like a marketing scheme. Like when I sit there and I listen to the alive people on 3D going over it line by line, and it's literally like you're going over a marketing plan. Like, if we do this, 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 and it's like all like scheming and scheming and scheming and scheming, and it gives me a headache and it drives me insane listening to people that are, trapped in physical reality called 3D and think that's an alive reality, and it's literally just a level of the video game. It's another level of the video game. And it just makes me go to Brandon because he's so much clearer. He's so much like easier to talk to, just easier to be around because he's already dead. He's already dead, right? And he knows he's dead, and so he knows he exists outside of time and space. And it's I couldn't even listen to Colin last night, because he was in the 3D narrative. It was like as soon as I stepped away from the TV, as soon as I stepped away from Brandon and the TV and like literally went to the bathroom, it was a whole bunch of fear and stress and loathing from the 3D conglomerate matrix reality thought bubbles going in my head. And I was like, why am I hearing all of this? It's really that simple. It's like an instant attack. It's like an instant attack from 3D, and I can't stand it. I can't fucking stand it. And that's what makes me go to Brandon. None of it matters. None of it means anything. That's why Brandon kept fighting back and pulling me out last night because of all of these 3D fights that are still going on. All these 3D fights that are still going on. And he was just like, nothing's there, Alyssa. Nothing's there. And he had just kept pulling me out, pulling me out, pulling me out. I'm just tired. I'm tired of being driven insane every single fucking day. I really am. When we know none of it's real, when we know the organic template just resets everything. Like I think the organic template is the great reset, and that's obviously where we're headed. Because that's what I'm experiencing. That's what my friends are experiencing. My cousins are experiencing. My family's experiencing. And we're just so tired of it. We're so sick of it, and I'm just so sick of the infighting and you know, just want the peace of knowing to overtake me. Nothing's there.